Hi, welcome to Season 1, Episode 32 of Next Stop Somewhere. We are Jeff and Louise, and today we're exploring the fantastic city of Newport, North Carolina. City, not really a city. Town.
Locale.
Yeah.
This is not about luxury travel. It's about real people and real places and the little discoveries that make it each trip unforgettable.
So grab your coffee, buckle up, and hey, let's just dive right on in.
Yeah.
So the campground.
I actually liked the campground. Now, the amenities were terrible, but I liked the campground because it was grassy lots.
Do we remember the
campsite.
name of the campsite?
Yeah, Goose Creek. It's called Goose Creek RV and Campground
Resort.
Park. I liked where we were at.
Yeah.
I was nervous about backing in, and I should have gotten out to look because I didn't. I backed in straight, which I needed to be on an angle. But then
And Carmen, the helpful groundskeeper.
had me drive around and just pull in,
Yeah.
which I didn't want to do because I wanted to just try and back in.
Yeah.
Which
Seems
I did
like
back
admitting
in, but
defeat.
it wasn't in street, yeah. But I liked the campground. I liked being able to sit outside. It was just breezy. And we had a great view of the little lake that was there and all the geese. Appropriate name for a Goose Creek.
Right.
campground.
It was mostly park models, and I don't think there were any mobile homes. Like where we were was mostly park models, fifth wheels that had just,
Converted to a
that had been
destination.
parked permanently. And it had the nice pond there. That was nice. We could look out over at sunset, the pond. And it was close to the ocean. We rode our bikes down.
Not to the ocean. Oh, that was the bay.
Yes, the intercoastal waterway, to be
Yeah.
precise.
But there was no access to get to the water.
No.
I'm trying to think. Was that on the corner, or that was another area of houses that we drove through? I think that's the other area of houses that we drove through.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't go to the water there. And, wait. There was also access to the water at the campground, which
Yeah.
I wouldn't go in.
Yeah, it was a little scary. Those kids were there fishing and all. So the area that we were at is actually called the Crystal Coast, and it's technically part of the Outer Banks, but generally when you think of the Outer Banks, it's more the northern part. And if you look at the map, it's Outer Banks runs north-south. They're the barrier islands, which protect the seashore, and then the Crystal Coast runs east-west, so that we were on a south-facing beach. So the beach that we were looking out over was actually technically what they call the waterway in there. And then there was the barrier islands, and then there was the ocean.
It was pretty.
It was very pretty.
I did like it. I was sad to leave.
Yeah.
And we were there for 3 weeks,
We were.
and I didn't hate every minute of it.
No. The
Had-
campground, we didn't really see too many staff people.
Carmen.
That was about it.
We were able to get packages there, which was a
Always
good
a
thing.
plus.
The activity center, when we went to go through there,
Closed.
yeah.
Womp womp.
Yeah. They had actually right outside the driver's side, we had one campground on the other side, then there was the road. And on the other side of that road was a big water slide that went into the pool,
Yeah, it was a hill. It was built into the hill.
which was cool, but it wasn't open.
Yeah.
Which was, I think I would not have liked.
Yeah.
I think I would not have liked the campground as much if
The
it was
screams of the
open in
children.
summer,
Mhm.
because kids are just annoying.
It was definitely one of the better 1,000 trails.
I liked it a lot. I would go back.
Yeah. Out of 10 stars, 1 to 10 scale.
Maybe an 8.5. And the only reason 8.5 because there wasn't a lot of places to go biking.
Yeah. Also, no fire
No fire rings. And that's understandable because it was kind of windy. And
Yeah.
North Carolina is known for the wind invention thingy.
Are you talking about the Wright brothers?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. All right. First in flight. Yeah. Shall we dive in
To the food?
to the food? Because there's a lot of it.
Okay, yeah, there is a lot because every other Saturday we take turns picking breakfast. I know we've said it before, but in case you're just turning in, we decided to switch off picking breakfast places and not telling the other person and just going.
Just going. So the first one we went to was Angie's Lighthouse. Again, another 4.6 stars. Looked at the pictures of the food. Looked tasty. Looked like it got a decent shot at it. The note that I have here after discussing it is the water was good.
The water was good.
Yeah. I had the sausage breakfast platter. with grits. The grits they weren't instant, but they tasted like the quick grits that take 5 minutes to cook instead of the 20 minutes or whatever. I'll let you discuss. And it was mediocre.
What did I have? The sausage breakfast platter?
I said something about the chicken looked good, and I don't know if that was a neighbor or yours. You had the Zeus omelet. That was where you had the Zeus omelet, wasn't it?
No.
No. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was the Compass Grill.
Foreshadowing.
We'll get to that one. I
don't remember. It wasn't good. It wasn't hot. And the hash browns were terrible.
Yeah.
They weren't even cooked all the way through. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Only 2 because the water was good and I was hungry.
And we had to wait 20 minutes or so. The place was busy. There was a
people?
bunch of people out front.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was, I don't know.
And where was the lighthouse?
A lot of people have
I'm
lighthouse.
giving it 1 star.
Ooh.
No lighthouse.
A lot of people have lighthouses in their front yard, little models 4 feet tall or whatever.
Better than a lawn jockey.
True. Didn't see any of those. And then there was something in one of the places we went where it had lighthouses of North Carolina, and it showed where they are and what they looked like. And there wasn't a lighthouse near where we were. I think Cape Hatteras is the famous
Fort Macon.
one. But it's not there anymore.
The one that had not the chevron, the diamond black and white.
Yeah, not there anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on.
Or maybe it was, but that was 30 miles away from Angie's Lighthouse.
Are we going to still talk about the breakfast?
Whatever.
Let's do the breakfast because the next one was the Banks Grill.
Yeah, where I'll just say I bought a T-shirt. I think it's the only food-related T-shirt I've purchased.
Nope. You got the thrown biscuit one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We just discovered that shirt tucked away.
The Banks
But that was more for the campy, ironic value than the actual
Grill.
good
Anyway,
food.
the Banks Grill, ignore them, I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
It was, you really enjoyed the grits. You got shrimp and grits
Shrimp and
again.
grits.
And he is obsessed with shrimp and grits down south.
I figure that's a good way to evaluate a Southern breakfast.
I had the Land and Sea Benedict, which had fried green tomatoes. It had Cajun grilled shrimp, Creole gravy, bacon crumbles, and eggs on top. Yours had a wild-caught East Coast shrimp with andouille sausage,
Yep.
mushrooms, green onions, and a Creole tomato gravy.
Yeah.
Served over creamy grits. The woman tried to
they
convince
were
me
creamy.
that she didn't like grits and had suggested that I try them, but I don't like grits at all, and I'm not willing to try them.
Yeah. There would have been no point. They were good.
You really enjoyed it.
I did.
Everything was very tasty.
I think that's the place we even got coffee, and the coffee was good.
And then the next breakfast place that we went to,
That was the Compass Grill, where I got the shrimp and grits, which the first 3 bites were good, right? The first few bites were good, but it was only because there was so much either butter or sugar or whatever. But the more I ate, the harder it was. Just
You didn't
really,
finish it.
really rich. Yeah, and I didn't finish it.
They looked
And the grits were
gritty.
gritty. Yeah, they were not completely done.
It's weird to
Not
say
creamy.
gritty grits. It's supposed to be. I got the Zeus omelet.
Yeah.
What would you expect with the Zeus omelet?
Spinach, feta.
Tomato. Nope. It ended up being the size of salsa and sour cream. There was spinach in there. I think they waved a couple leaves over it, but feta cheese. It was disappointing.
Canned jalapenos.
Canned jalapenos, and the hash browns were awful.
Rubbery.
It was awful.
And again, just going to point out,
Tomato was
4.8
good.
stars on Google,
me water.
4.3 on Yelp.
Yeah, out of 5 stars, I would
Yet
give
another.
that 2.
Yeah. The thing that was odd about that one, too, is it looked like it was in a converted convenience store because they had a whole wall of refrigerators. And the woman was like, just go get y'all's drink. And the coffee pots and all that were out. So that was a little weird. But
Then, so as in Charleston, South Carolina, we went to Kilwin's Ice Cream.
Yep.
They had one there. Didn't realize it was a chain.
No.
We went there twice.
Yeah. I think when we were there, when we went to the first one, I think there was a napkin and it had a few sites listed.
Bunch.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
More than just a handful.
You didn't think they was as good as the first time.
The first time, so we did, as you said, we went there twice. And the first time they were out of a couple of things. And the woman said, oh, we're supposed to be getting in a shipment Thursday. And the stuff that was there, even when we looked at the tubs, looked like it had melted and refroze. So I think it was just kind of
Yeah.
at the end of its lifespan. It wasn't as delish.
Sure.
But the second time we were there, it was great.
Really good.
Yeah, second time was great.
But the first time we went there at Newport, we got salted caramel and chocolate covered caramel. It's an assortment of the caramel's my favorite, and it was milk chocolate caramel and dark chocolate caramel.
You're talking about the candy, not the ice cream.
Candy, not the ice
Because they
cream.
also sell that.
And it was very good.
Mhm.
It was very good.
That's good.
I don't think I shared the caramel. I think I shared one with you.
The dark chocolate one.
The caramel, actual caramel. You
Fists.
went around. Then we had, that was breakfast, but we didn't have the ice cream for breakfast. And then we're on a quest to find good pizza. And the last time, if you recall, there was somebody who selected pizza. It was not very good. So this time, Wheezy selected the pizza. And it was Mo Betta Pizza.
And it would have been if we had eaten it there. But because of the delivery, it was a little,
We had it delivered.
Yeah.
You know why? Because we could.
yeah.
It has been years since
first
we had
time.
anything delivered. And he didn't have a warming thing. But it was good. It was good.
And I think we were too hungry to toss it in the oven to warm it back up.
We were hungry. But it was good. It was good. I
Yeah.
would have liked to have eaten it there. And
Yeah.
we got the Jamaican jerk chicken wings.
Yeah. And it was odd. It was, at first I thought it was the margarita, but it was the caprese pizza. So it had balsamic vinegar on it, which was interesting.
All right, yarn. Not a lot around. We went to 2 yarn stores. One is called the Salty Sheep.
That was the good one in the cute store.
Cute store, had a lot of unique yarns. I was going to buy a yarn to make a pattern that I had, but they didn't have enough of that yarn. And it was a locally dyed yarn. And then the other one, and she was great, lovely woman. The only thing that was bad about that place is that when she was winding yarn,
Oh my God.
it was making so much squeaking and screaming.
It was screaming. Yes. You're twisting a person's head around or something. I don't know.
And if you know anything about winding yarn, can be 400 yards to a skein. And so as you have the hank on this winder and you take the lead of yarn and put it into a yarn ball winder and you're winding it, the umbrella turns around, and it was that. It was like, dude, she said she tried everything to lubricate it and it didn't work.
Which, okay.
Then the other place we went to is called Yarn Tales.
Yeah,
So she only has owned this place for 2 years.
correct. Amazing that it's still open up.
And
Very nice woman. Let's preface this with that.
She is she's a nice woman. But a lot of nice people in prison too, so what does that mean?
No doubt.
Anyway, I finally asked her, she only had Barocco Universal yarns.
Yeah.
That's it. That kind of yarn. Not even it was a step up from Red Heart or Vanna white yarn. And I said, why don't you have any hand-dyed yarns? Why don't you have any variety here?
Yeah.
And she said that a very wise woman told her, the woman that owned, her mentor, the one that had owned the store before, had suggested to her to start with that. Okay. But she's been there for 2 years. She had a lot of accessories and notions, as you might call it. But we left, and I just said, she said she was going to start getting into Cascade.
Woo! We're going to go from the mediocre yarn to the mediocre fabric. I think it's supposed to be Designs by Doodle, but it's design with
Capital
a
Z.
capital Z, all one word. So they're going for some creative punctuation, capital A.
Totally weird.
Yeah. And boy, yeah, it looked like a fabric bomb went off in there when we went in.
Ew.
Just really cluttered and untidy was my
Cluttered,
first.
untidy, disorganized. And like when you were wrapping when the fabric is on a bolt, right? It's all scrunched up at the bottom. And then it makes it all wrinkled. And it was not,
Yeah.
it was pretty disgusting. It had a weird smell to it too. So didn't care for it.
Higgledy-piggledy was the phrase I used to describe how the yarn, bolts of yarn or fabric are shoved in there. It was like, I remember I said this, where you got that kit, the Poetry of the Sea kit.
Yeah.
You were off looking whatever, and the owner or manager said to the assistant, go up and down the aisles and make sure all the bolts are even. And I'm like, okay, anal retentive much? That seems a little bit over the top.
Yeah.
But now I understand why, because it's somewhere jammed all the way in and somewhere halfway out. And it just was really just the whole thing just chaotic, very chaotic feeling.
It was not like A&E where it felt like you just bought a bunch of, what are those, the Dollar General store that
Yeah.
were closing down. It wasn't like that, but it just seemed like a Joann's that had closed, that they're just accruing all that fabric.
Yeah.
And just putting it someplace because they didn't have a place to put it.
What was weird is then when we looked online, they had pictures from when they opened, and it looked nice.
It looked great.
It's like they know how to clean up.
I was actually excited about going to this. Disappointed, to
Yep.
say the least. And then after the certification, we were driving through the town called Newbern, and they had a fabric store there. There was a yarn store that was farther away, but we weren't able to get there before it closed at 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it's called Burn Fabric. And it was not bad. It wasn't bad. The woman was very nice. They've been there 52 years. The owner's in his 80s.
Yep.
She worked there, obviously, and it was a very community-oriented fabric. They even had a gentleman that came in.
Bragging about his carrot cake. Yeah. That was good. You said that you would go back to that one.
I would go back if it wasn't so far away. All right, museums.
Museums. We
This
got
was
a
the
few,
impressive
but
part.
actually only 3 what we could call museums.
Yep.
Yeah, one was, and I realized I'm wearing the Fort Macon State Park hat.
Anyway, Fort Macon, we were driving down the Emerald Isle and looking at the areas to be able to pull off and park to go to the beach. And so let's just keep going. Now, mind you, because of the diesel, we're not doing a whole lot of driving.
This ride only cost us, we figured, about $30.
Yeah, since it's well over 200 to fill up. Okay. Anyway, we drove down to the end and I don't think you realized there was a Fort Macon there.
There's the Fort Macon State Park, which there's Fort something state parks in
Everywhere.
Washington, and it's just a park where there used to be a fort.
Yeah.
Not this.
I will say, as somebody who is not a fan of history, just going to say, I was impressed.
It was really good.
It was free to get in.
Free.
The whole area was huge.
They basically had reconstructed the main part of the fort, and
Well kept.
well kept, very well maintained. And then inside they had a whole bunch of different displays of uniforms, artifacts, the guns, the food they ate, just really well done. All that stuff.
And
was
they
really
had
well
the
done.
room set up. You could go in and you could press the button to play, and it would tell the story of the person that was in there, and it would show like the bedroom, their bunks, their kitchen, their offices, and then they had all of the museum with all of the glass enclosure of the women and the men and the kids.
Yeah.
It was really good.
They had one thing that told the whole story because it was a Union fort. And then at the outbreak of the Civil War, like 2 days after Fort Sumter fell, they took this one over. And then like a year later, the Union recaptured it. So they had a whole display about that sort of thing. And then they reactivated it in World War II because there was actually a lot of U.S. ships that were sunk just off the coast of North Carolina, Torpedo Alley, they called it. Because, we were sending a bunch of material, et cetera, over to Great Britain and all. So there were bases that were installed there. They had, anti-aircraft, guns and stuff.
It was very good.
It was good. The bad part about it was it did lean a little bit into the war between the states versus the Civil War. And for example, that what I was talking about, the discussion of the battle, it talked about the defenders of the Crystal Coast. And it was not the Union Army, but the traitorous Confederates that they were lionizing as the heroic defenders. So,
which we all know that they lost, but whatever.
There was definitely a little bit of that. But other than that, well done. Second best fort that I've been to.
Sure.
Or no.
Third, because you liked Fort Ticonderoga. Ticonderoga.
Pencil Fort.
And then Niagara. Fort Niagara. The other place we went to was after I picked the breakfast. It was, where are we going to go afterwards? I didn't tell you. And so we went to the Maritime Museum.
North Carolina Maritime Museum.
And we got to see a lot of stuff about Blackbeard. And then it had a bunch of other stuff about the maritime history. And it had a sperm whale skeleton up hanging up. And that was also free. And it was like you were walking inside a ship. It was kind of set up like that, which was very cool.
Yeah. Blackbeard.
A lot of pirate stuff.
Yeah. Blackbeard used to live there.
Yeah.
In Bath, which was like just up the road from where we were. There was a short period of time where he went legit before he had to go out for one more score.
He couldn't handle it.
But yeah, civilian life is just too boring.
Oh.
So he went
Sorry.
back out, and just offshore there from where the museum was, his flagship, the Queen Anne's Revenge, ran aground. They intentionally beached it because they were like doing maintenance on it, like scraping off the barnacles and all. And then they were surprised by at that time, the British Army or Navy came out, and so they had to scuttle the ship and make their escape that way. But
Wasn't it originally the Queen Anne?
no, it was
They built it for that?
No, it was a French frigate. It was like the Concorde or the Metropole or something like that. And they rechristened it the Queen Anne's Revenge. And so it was a shipwreck, but it was like abandoned on a sandbar. So they took everything that they needed off of it. It got scavenged, so that they had a lot of artifacts at the museum, but they were like, oh, look, here's a teeny fragment of plate.
Yeah, that broke.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't a wreck. It was like they had to leave it. So they took everything off and then they left it. Then after that, we went to the old burying ground.
Yeah.
So the old burying ground is outside of a church. It is a very cool graveyard. And if you don't remember, Jeff likes old cemeteries. So walk around the cemetery. And this one, we were trying to find what was the oldest one that was there. And there were some pretty sad stories.
Yeah. The oldest one, I think it was 1750 something.
So you walk in and they've got pamphlets.
Right there.
That will tell you, you have the pamphlet? It will tell you, it had numbers. And it'll tell you where to go. Open it up and look. So you can see, I'm sure he'll probably put a picture in there. So if you walked around that trail, it gave you the story of the numbers. And one of them was about the little girl that was buried in a whiskey barrel.
Yeah, rum. No, there's a few good ones. There's some formerly enslaved folks who became teachers, and there was the girl buried in a rum barrel because she had gone back to England with her dad, and then our dad promised to bring her back and brought her back, and she died on the way back. And usually they just toss the bodies overboard, but in this case he had enough money that he basically bought a barrel of rum and dumped the body in there and sealed it up, and that got buried. They had the British officer who died, who was buried standing up facing the king, like with saluting the king or some nonsense like that.
So I think you tried to pee on that one.
I wanted to so badly, but
we flipped it off.
At the time. Then there was, of course, around in these parts, we still talk about when it was as cold as the night that Chrissy Wright went down.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, which is probably something they never say, but there is a shipwreck on a particularly cold night, and there's a mass grave, or there's a bunch of those bodies buried.
Yeah,
it
was cool. If you're ever in the area, those are the things that are definitely worth the while to go.
I was in Beaufort.
Yeah, Beaufort. And then, I guess, that pretty much sums up our adventures. Because again,
those are the museum adventures.
What else do we have?
We had two great trips to Walmart where we met the fabulous Mo. Shout out.
Yeah. So let's preface this. I don't shop at Walmart, but sometimes there's only places to go. And we were going to go to the beach. So we wanted to get an umbrella, and we got a blanket, and we got some stuff and I don't usually wear sunscreen. I don't typically burn, but I did get some 15. They didn't have 8, unfortunately, SPF. So we went to Walmart, and the first time that we had gone there wasn't that time. It was another time. We go into the checkout lane, and this little girl not little girl, she's a teenager.
High school kid, senior, I think.
Beautiful woman, girl. And I can't tell you, all of the interactions that we have had with teenagers have always been 95% of them, 98% of them have been grumpy ass teenagers. They're just like, I'm like, well, what's the matter with you?
Talking about especially in service, right?
Yeah. Any grocery stores that we've been to, any of those things, they're just grumpy ass teenagers. You don't have to be grumpy. She was like a ray of sunshine. She was sweet. She was nice. She kept saying how sweet we were. She asked if we were married. And, oh, yeah, we're married. How long have you been married? We told her almost 25 years, and she congratulated us. I mean, she was curious about us.
She asked, what's your secret? What advice would you give to someone?
Yeah, what teenager asks that? She was an incredible, you could tell she was just one of those incredible human beings.
Yeah,
I
very
really
warm-hearted.
Liked her. And I am not a person to really like people.
No, you
too much.
don't.
And I really liked her. So that when we went back to the same Walmart, we're going to the checkout, and we're just going to go to the self-checkout. And I'm like, no, we're not. And I'm walking down.
Got to see if Mo's here.
Walking down the aisle, looking to see. I go, we're going here. And then she goes, you can go to her. She's open. I said, nope, we went you. I think that's when she remembered.
Yeah.
And I told her that we were going to give her a shout out. So
Yeah.
shout out to Mo. Mo, you are an incredible person. Just keep it up. She wants
Keep
to
on
be
being
in
you.
psychology. What was the other thing that she wanted?
Psychology is what I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she likes to help people. Oh, a vet. But she didn't want to have
right,
a
a vet.
face putting that. So
Yeah.
there is this to say to that, because that's how Esben was, is what better person to put an animal down than somebody who...
Has that empathy, not just some sadistic, cold-hearted.
Yeah, just putting any animal down and not caring a bit.
Yeah.
And then we went to the beach.
Then we went to the beach, Atlantic Beach, and that was great. Yeah, nice, warm, good parking. It's still early in the season.
And we paid for parking. The beach, the sand was hot. I didn't take off my shoes until we were walking in the sand, and then we were coming back. You put your shoes on real quick.
Oh, yeah.
And we were there for a couple hours.
Yep.
It was nice. And the water was cold at first, and then after you're numb enough, you...
Exactly. The only other thing that I had a note about was all the wisteria.
Oh, that was the things that were surprising.
Oh, okay.
And what I found, I guess when we were driving up to Greenville is when we noticed it.
Yeah.
Or when I noticed it, I'll say. Speak for myself. And there was, like, wisteria is that viney, flowering plant. And
Purple.
I didn't realize that it was an invasive species. And but it's all over the place. And it's all over the trees, climbing up the trees, and it's blooming. So it's just beautiful. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not like kudzu where it's just
No.
vines.
And I think there is a non-invasive. There is some in the United States, but then there's also an invasive version. Yeah, it is very like all these like many of these invasive species. It's really pretty, which is why people brought it over.
Yeah, I'm looking to see what else was written on here for. Wisteria. We did not come across any alligators.
No
at
gators.
all in the Carolinas or Alabama
That was
or
disappointing.
Louisiana. None. And the produce sucks down south. What's
Yeah.
wrong with you people? You know what? Though when we lived in Alabama, it was also bad.
Oh yeah, sure. I don't think it's a new development.
No. Although we are in Virginia and we made the effort to go to Wegmans, which you know that we like, but you'll see that next episode. So yeah, I guess that does it. Right?
So what did you like?
Ooh, I love the beach.
Yeah, that was a nice day.
I would wish I could spend more time out on the beach. We didn't have our bathing suits on. Would have been nice had I had that on. I didn't even think about it. The beach was beautiful. I really liked the old burying ground. That was very interesting. And even the museums, it was free. You don't have to wait till you hear this one for this next episode. But anyway,
Yeah,
what about you?
the beach. Yeah, that was nice. We haven't been, even when we were in Myrtle Beach, I only stepped foot on the beach once.
That's because it was cold.
And it was cold the whole time. Yeah, so it was nice to be able to get to a beach that was warm and sunny.
I think that's what added to it because it's been cold and not New Hampshire cold that you can't go into the water. And there's I'm a summer baby. I prefer the water.
Yeah.
So it wasn't any of that.
Disappointed?
I would say the lack of the bike trails. Disappointed as in there's no fire rings, and I was surprised about the wind. But that's my surprise.
We did get a tornado watch, like early on, but didn't amount to anything. But it was windy, consistently windy the whole time we were there.
What were you disappointed about?
I was disappointed about the lack of biking opportunities because it's like the weather is finally good and that's been a big thing why we
did do a 10-mile bike.
3 weeks.
We did do a 10-mile
We did do
bike.
a big 10-mile ride up, yeah. But that was like the one place we could go.
And it was a lot of gravel.
It was a lot of gravel, yeah. It was fun. But then, because again, once we got out of the park, there is
Highway.
a little bit of side streets, and then there is, again, a busy street no bike lane.
But the other part is when you come out of the campground onto the main street, you can only turn right.
Yeah, there's a meridian in the middle.
And so for us, if we were going to go left, the only way to go left is to go all the way up. And that's the thing about North Carolina. I think San Antonio had these where they had these big U-turn areas, but it was a big area to turn around in. But we didn't do that. We just went across the median and went over. But
Yeah.
it's a highway. They're driving 55 miles an hour plus.
Yeah.
So I would say that. The wind was surprising because I had no idea that coastal area was as breezy
Yeah.
we couldn't have the awning out. Even though the sun's
Right.
beating down, couldn't have the awning out.
Like we said many times, now we understand why the Wright brothers came here to test out their planes.
Anyway.
All right, I think that about does it, doesn't
What was
it?
surprising for you?
What was surprising? How good the Fort Macon Park was.
Yeah, that was surprising too.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, that does it for today's stop on Next Stop Somewhere. We hope you enjoyed exploring Newport, North Carolina. I want to say Newport, California, but
Newport
wrong
Beach.
coast.
Yep, wrong coast.
If you like
And not
this,
Newport News either.
If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you really liked it, please leave a review. It helps more everyday travelers find us. And I will say, as of right now, I don't know how many countries have followed us, but Vietnam is the highest ranking country so far. And we have
Uzbekistan.
Yeah. And Iraq even. It was like, why? I don't understand. But hey, keep listening. That's great.
Yeah, the podcast stats only give us the top 10 countries.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can also follow us on both Instagram and YouTube at next_stop_some. So go do that. Give us a like and a follow. Like Wheezy over there says, leave us a review. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. So
That's it.
bye.
See you next time.